Charlie just got done with an argument with Vaggie. After she learned that she was an exorcist, she couldn't believe this. As the next tape came, all she could think about was all those people she hurt, that all those people that she made suffer. Charlie would go into Vaggie's room. As they were sleeping in separate rooms because of the argument, Vaggie would say, Charlie would say, "Don't hun me, we're through." As in tears would go through her eyes. Vaggie would say, "You can't mean that, I do, leave." As Vaggie was shocked. She knew Charlie wouldn't react well, but Vaggie would try to talk her out of it, but she made up her mind. So Vaggie would walk out of the hotel after breaking up with Charlie. Vaggie would be in absolute tears as she ran out of the hotel. The love of her life doesn't want to be with her anymore. It made her sadder than anything else. She didn't really know what to do. Ever since she fell down here, she's been with Charlie. She didn't really know the streets that well. But, depressed and desperate, she would go to a club and party. But no matter how hard she partied, not much happened. She didn't feel any better, no matter what she did. Until suddenly someone would start to notice her. Her name was Velvet. She would smirk as she watched her be depressed, as she knew this was her moment to shine. Her spies told her that she left the hotel, and she was very sad. It seems like she must have broke up with Charlie. She didn't know why, but if she can get intel on the hotel, that could be great. Maybe she can manipulate her, make her right-hand girl, who can always follow her around. After all, Val and Vox were great, but they had tempers and their problems. If she can have a yes girl around, that could really help her out. So Velvet decided to walk up to Vaggie as she looked at her and said, "What do you want?" "I want you to have a good time. Come out with me." Vaggie would say, "Why would I go out with a V? You guys ruined this place." She would laugh and say, "Darling, it was ruined before we got here. All we did was seize the power struggle. Besides, can you really blame us?" She sighed and said, "You know what, fine." As in Velvet and Vaggie would walk out together. As Velvet would go off with Vaggie, we cut to Charlie. As Charlie was sighing, she didn't know what to do. She couldn't believe she let Vaggie go like that. Was that a mistake? She couldn't think about it now. Adam was going to come and exterminate them soon. As Charlie would walk over to Husk and say, "I know this isn't my place, but can you do me a favor?" Husk would say, "What is it?" "I need you to get some materials from Camilla Carmine. You used to be an overlord, so I know you can bargain." Husk would sigh and say, "Are you sure?" "Yes." As Husk would be forced to do it, he would walk over to Camilla Carmine to try to get the materials. As Husk was walking in, Camilla Carmine would look at him and say, "Surprising, I didn't expect you. I knew someone would come for him. I thought it was going to be Vaggie. Tell me, why are you out here, Husk?" "To get the materials to fight back." "Why would you want to fight now? Someone else owns your soul now." Camilla Carmine would start to sing. As Husk, this song would resonate with him as he would start to sing along, because he wanted to fight for the hotel. He wanted to fight for his friends. As they both started to sing along, eventually she would say, "All right." As then she would start to attack Husk, as Husk would fight back and do it quite well, as he would put up quite a bit of defense. As he was an overlord for quite a while, he knew how to handle himself. He was tricked in a rigged game by Alistair, because he got too cocky though, so he already knew his lesson about not being cocky. As then Camilla Carmine would smirk and say, "I hope you get freed one day." Husk would say, "How do you know about that?" "I know more than you think. Husk, you need to fight for love." Husk would say, "I have no one to love." As Camilla Carmine would smirk and say, "Then why'd you come here?" As she left, Husk was shocked. Was she insinuating that he loved Charlie? Surely he wasn't. As he brought the weapons to Charlie, Charlie would hug him and say thank you. As they both looked at each other's eyes, Charlie was desperate for love and attention after Vaggie left her. After she kicked her out, after she broke up with her. As Charlie looked at Husk and Husk looked at her, they wanted to kiss. But then Charlie would say, "Let's get ready." As Husk would say, "All right." As Charlie and Husk would get ready for the attack. As we cut back to Vaggie and Velvet. As Vaggie was sighing, she was laying down in bed. Velvet gave her a bed to relax with herself. As Velvet would say, "You sure you don't want any company?" "I'm sure." As she would walk out, the next day would come. As Vaggie would sit up, not knowing really what to do. As she was depressed, she had nothing to do, nowhere to go. She could stay here, but the V's, she didn't really trust them. I mean, no one trusted any overlord, but much less the V's. as suddenly a knock on the door was heard. As Vaggie said, "Come in," Velvet would come in with some food and breakfast. "Here you go, love. I made it for you myself." As Vaggie ate it started to taste good. Velvet was powerful. She could have just get someone else to make it. And she could tell she didn't do that. She made it herself. Vaggie would say, "Why did you do this for me?" "Because I like to court you." As she winked, Vaggie would say, "Oh, real clever," as she got done eating. "Like I'm not gonna be with you. Just one date. Come on, love, please. You don't even know me." As she would sigh. And well, out of pure desperation for someone, Vaggie would agree to go out on a date with Velvet. As that was going on, we cut to Charlie. Charlie just had a battle with Adam, and they won. As Charlie was so happy that she did it, that she defended her friends. They were rebuilding the hotel, and Husk would say, "I'm glad we did it, Charlie." Charlie would say, "Yeah, me too." As then Charlie would kiss Husk, as she would blush and say, "Sorry, sorry, sorry." Husk would say, "No, no, it's fine, it's fine." As they would both look at each other smiling, someone would walk in between them. It was Alistair. "So you two like each other. Excellent. I have a deal." I would look at Alistair and say, "What deal is that?" "I'll let Husk go free if you make it so if I get attacked, you have to protect me. Only in self-defense, of course, and I won't provoke it." As they were both going to shake hands, Husk would say, "No, don't trust him." Charlie would say, "I need to free you." As they would shake hands, Husk would be freed. As Husk would say, "Why would you do that, Charlie? Why would you risk dealing with him? Because I love you." As Charlie smiled at Husk, Husk smiled at her, and they kissed. Charlie was sad about letting Vaggie go, but it was the right decision. She couldn't trust her after everything she's done. Now, Charlie and Husk could be together, and they can build a future together, and they can help sinners across all of hell. As their relationship only seemed to blossom more and more, as they seemed happy together. As the days passed and the weeks passed and it turned to months, Charlie and Husk were a nice couple, and Charlie was happy with her situation, even if it didn't turn out too good at the beginning. As then we turned back time and cut to Vaggie on her date with Velvet. Vaggie wasn't too excited. She knew she was going to get manipulated, but when she went there, Velvet dropped a bombshell on her. Velvet would say, "So, how about you be my right-hand girl? I'll give you all the power that I can give. In exchange, I'll let you have something you've been craving." As Velvet would suddenly grab Vaggie's hand. "It's attention, isn't it? You want attention, you want love, you want care. I'll give all that to you. You'll be my special girl, the most important person to me in the entire world. If you just become my second in command. You can push the V's so far forward, and I can make you feel so happy." Vaggie would resist, as then Velvet would kiss her, and it felt so good. Vaggie was so desperate for attention, she kissed back as they made out and went back to Velvet's place as they, well, had a fun time. As the next day rolled around, Vaggie's face would be bright red. As she would get up, Velvet said, "Where are you going?" "I can't do this. I can't be a V." Velvet would say, "Don't act all prissy. You were an exterminator. You destroyed so much. Don't act like you're better than me." Vaggie said, "You knew? And you still wanted me on your team?" Velvet would see she was shocked, so she would play that. "Of course. It doesn't matter what you are if you're a V. It doesn't matter what your past is. You can have power, all the power you've ever dreamed of. And you can have me, a girlfriend who loves you, and a girlfriend who won't leave you," Velvet would say as she kissed Vaggie. Vaggie blushed more, as all these thoughts rolled for her head. But she knew she wanted this. She knew she wanted love, and she knew she wanted someone who wouldn't leave her. Weeks would slowly pass as these weeks turned into months, and Vaggie would start to fall in love with Velvet, and Velvet would even become fond of Vaggie. But like how Val was fond of Angel, except Velvet would use niceness and kindness on Vaggie, and would manipulate her that way. It would never show rudeness. This played very well to Vaggie, and kept up the illusion that Velvet cared about her. As their love grew, they would become very important and powerful, as Vaggie would become the right-hand girl and second in command of all of Velvet's operations. As Charlie and Husk would fall deeper in love, the hotel would become deeply successful, and the V's would become deeply powerful. However, they could not coexist. However, that would be story for another day. And that is going to leave things off. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments below. And yeah, I think I enjoyed this story. Charlie and Vaggie are literally the most perfect couple. They did have a fight, which I'm glad about, because, like, I don't want couples to be too perfect, because, you know, if you're in a relationship, you will have problems, you would have issues, but a good relationship works past them. It doesn't try to ignore them. I'm glad they're able to solve their problem. And this story is very unlikely. However, I did think, what if they broke up? I think that's a fun scenario. And, you know, I was kind of thinking, what scenario can I do for a video? What scenario can I do for a video? Kind of running out of ideas. And I'm glad that this finally came to my head. And I could finally post this video. And I think I did a great job. Let me know what you think would happen if they broke up. And I tried to describe things as best as possible. I don't think Vaggie would go with Velvet. But, you know, I had to pair with their female character. It was either that or Camilla Carmine. Actually, Camilla Carmine probably would have made more sense now that I think about it. But oh well, too late now. Already made the video. But yeah, I had to pair with a character. Unless I did a crossover, there's not really a lot of options. And Charlie, there's more options for it. But I think Husk makes the most sense since, you know, Angel's gay. Nifty, I think, is a straight ally. I don't know. And Husk is bi, so yeah. I feel like they would get new partners and move on with their lives and, you know, try to move forward. And I think that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do after a breakup. It's hard, you're in pain, but you always move forward. Even though you'll always remember them and always love them, you'll always find someone who is better suited for you. At least that's what I'm speaking for you know, from the heart. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking my videos. And thank you so much for being there for me. You do mean the world to me. All of you mean so much to me. Peace out. I love you all.